Hi everyone. For me, it's good morning. Another video, another topic about this conflict here, and I want to talk about the captives, the hostages. Um, Lots of captives have been taken in the past. Hostages, soldiers, prisoners of war. There were prisoner of war exchanges with Syria, Egypt, Jordan, and but what about with the terror organizations like Hezbollah and Hamas? The pattern you see if you search for Israeli prisoner exchanges, Israeli captive exchanges with Hezbollah and Hamas, you'll find a list. And what you notice if you go over that list is Israel always releases a lot more for a lot less. Sometimes even releasing live prisoners for just bodies of soldiers or even just body parts. There were 3 reserve soldiers killed on the Lebanese border by Hezbollah. Israel released dozens of live prisoners and dozens of bodies for these 3 bodies of soldiers. The most famous exchange was with Hamas in 2011. Now, famous in recent years because there was a huge political debate because of what Hamas was demanding. Hamas had 1 soldier. He was alive. He was held for years. And he was returned alive and relatively healthy. And he was released because Israel, after lots of negotiation with Hamas, released over 1,000 Hamas terrorists from Israeli prisons. Over 1,000. And this becomes the exchange rate. Israel values its life of its civilians, citizens, and soldiers so much that we will release 1,000 terrorists for one of our own. This is the exchange rate. This is why what happened also on Saturday is so traumatic. Apart from the mass death and slaughter, they have 200, possibly more, captives. Around 60 or so soldiers, and the rest civilians. Civilians, they just kidnap men, women, children, babies. What is this, like some kind of cartel, some kind of ISIS death cult? I guess, yes, it is like kind of an ISIS death cult. And by the way, we should treat Hamas supporters the way you treat ISIS supporters. Remember ISIS? Islamic State of Iraq and Syria? Hamas is ISIS. And if you support Hamas, you are like supporting ISIS. Treat them like that. Treat them like Nazis that they are. And so you can imagine Israelis thinking of the huge political debate about should we release 1,000 Hamas terrorists for this one soldier? We love him so much, we want him back, but this will set a terrible precedent. Not like this was the first precedent. In the past, this happened before, releasing dozens or even hundreds of terrorists in Israeli prisons for just individuals, sometimes even just civilians, sometimes just body parts. So we always release a lot more. So that now we'll wake up on the Sabbath and we realize they have the number of captives that they have in hostages keeps rising, and it's 200. This is like, it's hard for me to express what Israelis are feeling, what we feel now, because we just went through that huge debate about how to get Gilad Shalit back. That was the name of the soldier that was gotten back with the price of 1,000 captives. So if that's the exchange rate, 1,000 Hamas terrorists to get 1 soldier back. They have 60 soldiers, and they have 140 plus civilians. We don't have 200,000 Hamas terrorists in Israeli prisons. So it's just like all of them. They could just say that. This could be the position of Hamas now. Release all of them. Every single Hamas terrorist, Fatah terrorist, Islamic Jihad terrorist that you have in prisons. No matter how many Jews they killed, how many Israelis, how many people they killed, how many terror attacks they did, release them all. This is kind of the position we're in now. If you want to know more, search for Israeli prisoner or hostage exchanges, and look up Gilad Shalit, GILADSHALIT, and you could see, wow, they really released 1,000 Hamas terrorists for this one soldier. And the other prisoner exchanges a few years back before that, releasing dozens of prisoners just for bodies of Israeli soldiers. This is how much Israel values the life of its people, and this is a terrible situation. By the way, up to 27 Americans were killed in the attack, and over 20 are held captive, are held hostage, all civilians, in Gaza right now. So what's America going to do to get them back? Are you going to negotiate with terrorists? Is America negotiate with terrorists? All right. So that's another perspective on what's going on here. I love everyone. Hope to be out of this soon. We'll be back there. Have a good one. Be in touch.